loves. How are you? I hope everyone's had an amazing week. I was very active this week. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Press the button. If you are, thank you so much for subscribing. Hey to my new subscribers, and hey to you guys who were there during this whole process. Today I want to talk about transitioning into who you are. Yeah, I know it's Sunday. Yeah, I know it's our inspirational get ready for the week. Let's do this thing. Let's get through this week. Okay, last week was super crazy. I wanted to do a weekly vlog. I thought I was going to have time. Did not happen. But, just being able to come in on Saturday and kind of pick myself apart, how I'm feeling, what I'm feeling, what I want to talk to you guys about, what is going to uplift you guys because it is uplifting me currently. That is what these types of videos, where they kind of stem from. So it's not religious, it's not anything like that. It is just, it's hard out here, and we spend so much time working, grinding, hustling, getting the life that we want. So we need a little uplifting moment, and why not go ahead and share something with you guys each week, because I need it, okay? So today I'm going to talk about transitioning into who you are, who I am, who I was, my journey. I'm going to share a little bit of it, and then hopefully it helps you in whatever stage you're in. So some of you may be at the very beginning of your journey. Some of you might be in that defining moment. And then some of you might be, towards the end where things are kind of starting to taper off, and life is good. You're living your best life, and you're kind of unwavering in who you are. So please stay tuned if this is something that you need to push you through whatever point of your journey you're in. So my journey, I don't know. My journey has been interesting. I would never say I had a bad life, bad childhood, bad anything. I was spoiled. so spoiled. And I didn't know. So I was super spoiled, and it's so funny because if you knew the little spoiled, I probably was kind of entitled little brat that I was growing up, and then it kind of evolved into this stone-walled, unwavering powerhouse of a woman that I am now. My poor husband. Actually, no. I had to stop saying that because he loves it. He allows me the space to just be me, and that is the love that I needed and never knew. So how did we get from here to here? So, I started off, I had a child very young. I had my son at 17. Yeah, I had him in March. I was 17. I turned 18 in August, right before I graduated high school. And honestly, that was one of the biggest defining moments for me. I became a mother super early. I was a high school mother. I was a teenage mother. I'm 33 years old now, and he's 15. So I had to learn life running. There was no crawling phase. There was no walking phase. I had to run. I was a mother. I had someone else that I had to take care of. And, it was interesting for me. I was always very much so this is my child. I'm going to do whatever is necessary to take care of my child. And there were a lot of times that I fell and I had to start over, and I didn't make the best decisions for myself. But every decision that I made was to benefit my child. And then, so I go from being a young single mother to, falling in love, and things happened. And I had another child, and I became a single mother again. And I was like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe this. And honestly, it's you didn't learn your lesson. Clearly, you weren't learning, you weren't listening. Life was knocking on the door trying to get you to be like, hey, you need to be paying attention. I'm a little headed. So here we are again, single mother, 2 kids, again, trying to figure it out, starting jobs over, restarting. I got to the point, honestly, I was laid off. And I guess this is how I joined the military. I was laid off, and I lost everything. I lost my house. I didn't lose my children, but all the tangible things. I put myself in bad situations because I had to kind of just get rid of my house and allow people to move in. And now that's on my credit because things weren't handled properly through the sublease. So don't do that. Don't be like me. But it was life. I learned. And then I joined the military, and someone told me out of rage, because I was being Renee, that the military saved me, and that's not necessarily true. I made a decision to join, and I'm very, very glad I joined. I said yes to that change in my life because I realized things weren't changing for me. I was in this cycle of starting a job, great job, learning customer service, being in management positions, and then something would happen. And then I would have to start all over. And I said, you know, I'm tired of that. I'm tired of starting over. I want a contract. I want to say, hey, okay, so you and I are going to do this for a set amount of time, period. And I also wanted to get in the medical field. People are always like, how do you do what you do? Like, you just interact with people, you remember things that people would never really know or understand. How do you remember all of that for all these different people? I pretty much have to understand my soldiers' lives, their everything, all these different appointments from all these different people, plus my family. And I was like, well, I started in banking. So people would roll up and you're already putting in numbers because you remember them, or putting in their name because you remember them, you know? So I loved banking because it taught me customer service. It taught me to, that I was the face of the company. And even though I'm in the military, I'm still the face of my clinic. I'm still the face of my soldiers. I'm the face of my brand and my career. And that was huge for me. And that's something that I have taken on and on and on and on and on. If you know me from my 20s, you know I used to be a little crazy, a little reckless with my mouth and things that I post. And, you know, here lately I've been acting up a little bit, but it's okay. You know, it's okay. Every now and then. But you know, I took on something new because I wanted something new. And that is when my transition began. It wasn't the military. It wasn't that they changed me. It was that they allowed me something different in my life. I learned different skills. I learned different disciplines. I became part of a group, of a crew, of a set of people who had similar experiences as I had as far as training, but we all were from all these different places. And my circle began to change. I began to grow and develop. I completely kind of detached from people and situations that I had been in because it was time. I had outgrown them. I wasn't here for foolishness because I was, you know, I had known people who had passed away, who had served, who had given their life. So dumb stuff really didn't matter to me. And if it's something that I'm passionate about, it's something that really resonates with who I am morally and my values, and I choose to speak up and be vocal about things of that nature, and things that are petty and small, I choose to just ignore. And that's who I have become. So that's kind of who I was, and that's who I became because of my defining moment. You have more than one defining moment. For me, it was the birth of my first son. That was kind of like okay, so deer in the headlights, how am I going to do this? And then I figured it out, and it became kind of easy. And then I had another son, and it was like, okay, how am I going to do this? And then I figured it out. And I remember saying, oh my gosh, I'm every single stereotype. I am an African American woman, teenage mother, 2 children by 2 different men. Like, I am pretty much every stereotype. And I realized I had to work harder than everyone else. That myself on paper would always be a fail. Who I was, my journey would always be a fail. I would start conversations with people and kind of say tidbits about myself, and they'd be like, oh my God, like, I would never, like, I can't believe somebody would have, I mean, you didn't learn the first time and blah, blah, blah. Now, these are comments that people would say, not knowing it was me. And then I would be like, oh, well, that, you know, that's me. And they were like, oh, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. No need, no need. And it kind of used to be to weed out people who kind of just pretended like who they were aligned with who you was. Did that make sense? I don't know. But the baby's crying. She always cries, guys. Right? So she just loves to see you guys. So no matter what part of your journey you're in, I think the first thing you have to do is realize that it is a journey, that there are ups and downs, there are good days, there are bad days, there are round and round. Sometimes it rains, sometimes it pours, and sometimes it's a whole, my hair, a whole hurricane. But the hardest part of your journey is what is going to change you for the better, what is going to help you grow, what is going to help you develop into that person that you always wanted to be. That when you were young and you were like, I wonder who I'm going to be, you know, what type of mother, what type of woman, what type of lover I'm going to be. The hardest part of your journey is what's going to push you to get there. You have to get out of these comfort zones. You have to get out of things that are comfortable for you. And it's not something that we can naturally do. You have to be pushed. And you have to be pushed in ways that don't make sense, ways that are completely outrageous, ways that are non-conventional a lot of times, in order for you to be like, you know what? I gotta get my shit together. I remember an ex completely destroyed my house. Completely destroyed my house. Knocked over the fish tank, like threw my clothes out the window. I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Like literally took a screwdriver and bust all 4 of my tires. Like my brother was like, yo, what do you do to people? Like, what did you do? I've never seen a dude bust someone's tires. And I mean, all I did was say, you know what? This not working. Actually, I said, get the F out of my house. But what I meant was, it's not working. He was angry. He was going through a lot of things. He wasn't the person who he had pretended to be, and that used to be my story. Oh my gosh. You know, I would date someone for a while, and then who they were really came out later, and it was nothing that they had portrayed, nothing that I thought they were, and it really didn't align with who I was or the future that I wanted for myself. And I would, during the beginning of my journey, try to make it work, try to change myself, try to adapt and overcome, and it would be worse later. So mid-journey, you know, I'm like, okay, so you gotta go. This not working. Goodbye. Bye, Felicia. That's before that saying even came out. And there would still be tantrums. And then posts later in my journey, where I am now, it was, I'm going to be very cautious. I want to get to know the person and really allow God to make it happen if it's meant to be, because I was tired of picking and choosing the wrong person for myself. Who you choose as your partner will define the type of life that you live, define like everything about who and where you're going in life. Because it's hard to be married. It's hard to have 2 totally different people kind of match their lives together. And if your partner isn't pushing you for greatness, isn't working hard or harder than you, you know, if your goals aren't aligned together, then you're not going to go anywhere. There's so many people out here mentally and physically abusing the person that they're with. You have no idea what's going on behind closed doors. And I'm so thankful that my journey ended with, it hasn't ended, but it landed me where I am today. And it was hard. It was very hard. It was a lot of shed tears. And I can't remember the last time I've cried based on an outside source. Because I've gotten to a point where I'm happy. I'm happy with my life. I'm happy with my family. I'm happy with the people that I choose. And I'm very, the people who are in my life kind of mirror me, my morals. Now my friends are totally different. I got doctor friends, I got natural, she's gonna beat me, tree hugging friends. You know, I have all types of people in my life, but if you ask them about certain things, about just certain huge topics, it all aligns in with who I am. And that's what means the most to me, because it's a village. If I'm going on a tangent, which I didn't mean to do, but whatever it takes to get your happiness, whatever it takes to get where you want to be, whatever it takes to get through the transition points of your journey that you're in, you need to do. You need to let go of the dead weight. You need to be honest with yourself. If you have to change your job, if you have to change your city, if you have to let go of that relationship, that partner that you're, been trying to make it work with, whatever you have to do to get your happiness back and get on the path to the next anchor point of your journey. And I know that this isn't it, that I'm going to have hard times again. I'm going to have good days, bad days. It's going to rain again. It's going to pour again. But I know that I have kind of stashed away enough tools in my toolbox mentally to get through them, because I chose to learn my lessons and pay attention to what was going on around me, and not just go through the motions anymore, but really, really try to understand what was going on in my life and try to get through the journey so that I didn't have to recycle through, because we had that first baby, then we had that second baby, I had to recycle through. And I remember after I had my daughter, right? After I had my daughter, and my husband and I, we do our thing, we're working, we're taking care of the baby. I said, had I known that this was the life that was waiting for me, I would have never dealt with, been through, struggled through, cried through, begged people. I never would have allowed myself to stay in situations that I had I known that this was the life. And I understand you have to go through bad things to get to where you appreciate this life. But had I known, it might have just been a little bit easier. And I tell everyone, if it could happen for me, this mother who was a single mother of 2 children with 2 different dads, teenage mother, all the stereotypes that you could want to throw out there, if it could happen for me, then I know it will happen for you. So I hope you guys have an amazing week. So have a good week. No. So Jishi. No kisses. No kisses. So I hope you guys have an amazing week. I hope this helps someone kind of at least evaluate where you're at and be like, all right, this is tough. I ain't gonna lie, Renee, it's tough, but I'm gonna get through it, because I know this is just one of my defining moments playing tricks on me, and I want to learn my lesson so I don't have to go through this again. So